Imagine for a second that you are standing in a long checkout line at a local Econo supermarket in the small town of Vega Baja, Puerto Rico. You see a young guy with a buzz cut carefully bagging groceries, making sure the bread stays on top. He looks like any other neighborhood kid working a part-time shift to make ends meet, right? Well, fast forward just a few years, and that exact same kid is literally the most streamed artist on the entire planet. We are talking about Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, known to every corner of the globe as Bad Bunny. It is the kind of explosive rags to riches story that sounds like a wild Hollywood movie script, but it is 100% real. You honestly won't believe the sheer scale of what he has managed to pull off in such a short amount of time. He did not just join the music industry, he completely hijacked the steering wheel and drove the entire culture in a direction that nobody saw coming. But before we get into the heavy details of his rise, we have to address the mystery of his name. Why on earth would a grown man, a trap king, choose a name like Bad Bunny? It sounds almost cute, right? But there is a hilarious and very relatable story behind it. Legend has it that Benito was forced to dress up in a bunny costume for a school play when he was a little kid, and he looked absolutely miserable in the official class photo. That defiant, grumpy little kid in a bunny suit became the blueprint for his entire brand. He took something that was meant to be embarrassing and turned it into a symbol of rebellion and a billion-dollar empire. It stands for the idea of being yourself, no matter how weird people think you are. It was a genius branding move when you really think about it, because now that logo is everywhere, from high-end designer sneakers to massive stadium screens. And speaking of massive, let's talk about those record-breaking stats, because they are genuinely mind-blowing. We are not just saying he is popular, we are saying he is a global titan. For 3 consecutive years, he was the #1 most streamed artist on Spotify globally, overshadowing icons like Taylor Swift and Drake. While other major artists were chasing radio play, Benito was out here breaking every single record in the book without even breaking a sweat. One of the most fascinating parts of this takeover is the impossible feat he achieved regarding the language barrier. For decades, the industry standard for Latin artists wanting to make it in the US was simple. You had to record an English crossover album. Everyone from Ricky Martin to Shakira followed that path. But Bad Bunny, he looked at that old rule book and threw it in the trash. He flatly refused to sing in English just to appease the charts. He stayed completely true to his roots and his Puerto Rican accent. Oz and the entire world decided they would just learn Spanish so they could sing along with him. It is a total revolution that changed the music game forever. You really have to wonder, is it just the catchy beats? Or is there a secret strategy behind his massive takeover? Every time he drops a project, the internet literally breaks. Whether it is a surprise album or a single cryptic post, he knows exactly how to keep us all on our toes. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. The frenzy of his recent tours has been nothing short of total chaos. We are talking about massive stadiums selling out in minutes, and celebrities from all over the world begging for a piece of that Benito magic. He has become a cultural gravity well that pulls everyone in. But wait, because there is more to this than just hit songs. Can you believe he achieved all this global dominance in less than a decade? He went from a quiet supermarket aisle to the center of the universe faster than almost anyone in history. It makes you wonder what was really happening during those early days, and how a SoundCloud upload could burn down the old rules of the music industry once and for all. To understand the sheer magnitude of how a regular guy from Vega Baja conquered the globe, you really have to look at where it all started. Life in that small Puerto Rican town wasn't exactly a whirlwind of glitz and glamour for young Benito. Before the world knew him as the record-breaking Bad Bunny, he was just another face in the crowd, living a remarkably normal life. He would spend his days bagging groceries at the local Econo supermarket, being that polite kid who made sure your eggs didn't crack. But inside, his mind was a storm of melodies and rhythms. While his hands were busy with plastic bags and produce, his soul was already halfway to the Grammy stage. This normal guy persona isn't just a marketing gimmick, it is his actual DNA. He never tried to pretend he was born into royalty, and that is exactly why his fans feel like he is one of them. He represents the dream that any kid with a laptop and a vision can actually make it out of the neighborhood and onto the world stage. That vision took its first major step toward reality in the digital Wild West of SoundCloud. In the mid-2010s, while the music industry was still trying to figure out how to monetize streaming, Benito was busy uploading his own tracks. Then came the song that changed everything, Dials. It was raw, It was different, and it had a vibe that felt like the future of Latin trap. It didn't take long for the track to explode, catching the attention of heavy-hitting producers like DJ Luian and the Mambo Kings. They saw something in him that nobody else had, a unique vocal texture and a fearless approach to songwriting. Overnight, he went from a local secret to the most talked about name in the underground scene. It was a classic started from the bottom moment that proved you don't need a massive label to get noticed if the music is undeniable. But Benito wasn't content with just making hits. He wanted to disrupt the entire culture. If you look at the history of reggaeton and Latin urban music, it's a world often defined by a very specific type of tough guy masculinity. Bad Bunny decided to take a wrecking ball to those traditions. He started showing up to events with brightly painted nails, rocking vibrant patterns, and eventually even wearing skirts and high fashion looks that left the old guard completely speechless. He was breaking gender norms in a scene that wasn't always welcoming to change, and he did it with a shrug and a smile. People were shocked, sure, but the younger generation absolutely loved it. He became a symbol of stylistic rebellion, proving that you could be the most street guy in the room while still being unapologetically yourself. This wasn't just a fashion statement, it was a declaration of independence from the rules that had governed the genre for decades. This rebellious spirit made him the ultimate collaboration king. Everyone wanted a piece of that Benito magic, and he knew exactly how to leverage it. One of the most legendary moves in his career was teaming up with J Balvin for the collaborative album Oasis. It was a moment where two titans combined their forces to elevate Latin music even higher. But if that was a home run, his collaboration with Drake on the track MIA was a grand slam that cleared the stadium. Imagine getting the biggest rapper in the world to step into your territory and sing entirely in Spanish. That wasn't just a collab, it was a total power move. It signaled to the entire industry that the tides had shifted. Bad Bunny wasn't knocking on the door of the American market, he was the one holding the keys. Of course, with this level of astronomical success, rumors always follow close behind. People began to whisper, is he really as independent as he claims? Critics started speculating that there must be a massive, invisible machine behind the curtain, pulling the strings and engineering his every move. Whether it's his relationship with Rimas Entertainment or his strategic silence on social media, there is an endless debate about how much of his rise was organic and how much was calculated corporate genius. Regardless of what the skeptics say, the evidence of his talent is found in the music itself. He has this uncanny ability to tap into the global zeitgeist, and that's something no amount of money can buy. His personal life has also been a major talking point, especially during the internet-breaking era when he was linked to Kendall Jenner. The rumors of their relationship sent shockwaves through the fan base. Some critics wondered if he was losing his street cred by hanging out with the Hollywood elite. But Benito has always been a master of reinvention. He navigated that high-profile era with the same cool confidence he has on stage, showing that he can live in both worlds without losing his identity. It was a fascinating transition that paved the way for a massive shift in his sound. He moved away from the dark, gritty vibes of early Latin trap and started embracing the tropical, record-breaking energy of Un Verano Sin Ti. It felt like the world was finally hearing the music he was born to make, and we were all just along for the ride. But as we all know, with great fame comes great pressure, and the story was about to get even more complicated. Have you ever noticed how most celebrities are constantly posting every single meal, workout, or sponsored product? Well, Benito is the complete opposite, and honestly, that's a total masterclass in psychological marketing. His delete everything Instagram strategy is legendary at this point. You guys won't believe how simple it actually is. One day his profile is full of life, and the next, poof, it's completely wiped clean. You'd think that would be social media suicide in the age of the algorithm, right? But for him, it's like lighting a massive signal fire for the world to see. The entire internet goes into a total meltdown every time his profile goes dark because we all know what it means. A brand new era is about to drop. By using silence as a tactical weapon, he creates a level of anticipation that most PR teams would spend millions to manufacture. He doesn't need to beg for your attention. He makes you crave it by simply disappearing. It's a brilliant way to keep the mystery alive in a world where everyone else is oversharing every boring detail. This leads us right into what people have dubbed the Bad Bunny effect. This isn't just about fans liking a few catchy songs, it's about a level of cult-like devotion that honestly defies logic sometimes. We are talking about people who will fly across oceans and wait in line for 24 hours just to be in the same stadium as him. Why? Because a Bad Bunny concert isn't just a show. For a whole generation, it's a spiritual experience. He's managed to create a community where people feel seen, and that loyalty is impenetrable. Whether he's rocking a casual bucket hat or wearing a custom designer gown at the Met Gala, the fans are right there with him, mimicking his every move and hanging onto his lyrics like they're holy gospel. It's the kind of influence that transcends music and turns a person into a modern-day cultural deity. But hey, even a god of the global charts can stumble, and the internet had an absolute field day when things got messy. You probably remember the infamous phone-throwing incident in the Dominican Republic. Benito was walking through a crowd when a fan got a little too close and shoved her camera right in his face. In a sudden burst of frustration, he grabbed the phone and tossed it straight into the water. Man, the backlash was instant. People were torn. Some argued he was just defending his personal space and demanding respect, while others slammed him for being arrogant and out of touch with his supporters. It was a rare crack in his relatable guy persona, and a reminder that the pressure of being the most watched man on the planet can get to anyone. The public outcry was loud, and for a moment, people really wondered if his crown was finally starting to slip. However, Benito knows how to channel chaos back into his art. That's exactly what happened with the Nadie sabe lo que va a pasar mañana era. This wasn't the sunny, radio-friendly vibe of his 2022 hits. Instead, he took a hard pivot back to his gritty, dark Latin trap roots. He wanted to remind everyone exactly where he came from before the stadiums and the pop stardom. Some fans were caught off guard, while the day one trap fans were absolutely losing their minds with joy. It sparked a massive debate. Is he still the undisputed king? Or are fans getting a little tired of the constant mystery and these sudden mood shifts? It's a risky move to look backward when you're at the peak, but Benito never plays it safe. But wait, there is more to the story than just the music. Let's talk about his move to Hollywood. We saw him in Bullet Train, and he brought depth to Cassandro. Rumors suggest he might transition into acting full-time. Can you imagine the big screen without him? It leads to the question, will anyone ever top his 3-year streak as the #1 artist in the world? He set the bar so high that he's the only runner in the race. What's his next transformation? Is there a surprise album lurking, or is he about to shock us again? Benito isn't finished yet, and we are just waiting for the next beat to drop. This superstar from Vega Baja has changed everything, and we are all just living in his